here to irritate you. If you're a coach, this is for you, and this might surprise you, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe you already see it coming. Here's what I know. By Christmas of 2026, which is 14 and a half months, because this is what, October 3rd, 14 and a half months from now, 95, maybe more, 97% of coaches, you and me, we're not going to be able to make a living. And I've said that before, and I put up a post said, coaching is dead. And I got a lot of haters that said, no, it's not, told me all the reasons I was full of crap. Most coaching is dead, and it actually should be. Because here's what's been going on. I hear this all the time. I want you to listen if you're a coach, just for a minute before you get mad at me. And that's this. How many people have you talked to who are even coaches who say, I can see exactly what's wrong with other people's marketing or other people's dating approach or other people's relationship habits or other people's personal power things, the stories in their head, the barriers, the blocks, how they're getting in their own way. I can see that. But when it comes to my own, I can't do anything. How many times have you heard that or maybe said that? That is symptomatic of something really clear, and that is this. Anyone who says that is not living their own teachings. You or me, if I say that, we're not the embodiment of what we teach. Everything that you learned in any coaching methodology, framework, tool, cool questions, things, all the stuff you know, I'm not disparaging any of that. What I'm saying is in 14 months, it will be useless. And here's why. AI can do it already today, faster and better than you can. All that's lacking is the pervasive integration, the market penetration of good AI coaching apps. They're going to do frameworks, reminders, questions, accountability, even interpreting your patterns and empathy and all of that stuff better than we do. So we have a choice. The choice is to argue about that. We can get mad at it. We can pretend it's not happening. We can pretend we're already too cool for that and we're way past that. If it was, you'd be at $150,000 a year. So if right now you're at 50 or 75 or even anything less than 100K, you are that. You are not the truth of your own coaching. Now, that doesn't mean coaches don't need coaches. That doesn't mean, well, I need to go to a coach to see my own blind spots. Yes, we do. I always say a coach without a coach is a fraud. So I have one. Do you? Are you in a powerful, meaningful coaching container? If you're saying, well, I can't because I can't afford it, you're fooling yourself. You have to get there. Embodiment, that's a buzzword, right? What does it even mean? Embodiment simply means that what you teach about blind spots, about getting out of your own way, about recognizing your own purpose and power, about all those things, that has to be exactly who you are every time you speak. I don't mean in public. I mean every time you talk to anybody. Every conversation you have, when you go to the grocery store, when you walk into a room, not as a celebrity, but as an attendee, when you come to a meeting, there has to be some kind of atmosphere and power around you. Now, I'm doing a podcast series that's dropping every Thursday. And if you don't know the podcast, it's Your Ultimate Life is the name of the podcast. The URL is Your Ultimate Life Podcast, yourultimatelifepodcast.com, but it's on all the regular podcast places, and we're top 3% in the world right now. And we're soon closing in on top 1% because of what we're talking about, which is how to create the life you love every day, where you don't hate some of it and like some of it, but you actually fall in love perfectly and wonderfully with every minute of your day. So I was doing that twice a week, and starting September 25th, and today's Friday, so yesterday was the second episode, I'm putting out a Thursday episode. And the Thursday episode is specifically talking about the relationship between AI and coaches, how we're using it, how we're not using it, why we're afraid of it, why we're not afraid of it, and specifically talking about this topic. about us becoming useless and redundant if we don't level up. Level way up. And if you don't carry the presence, like every moment, if the truths you teach don't leak out of your eyes and come out of every pore of your body, you're not there yet. And you have a choice. You can get there or you can close up shop, because you and I are going to be not useful. It's funny, my background has gone funny on me, hasn't it? All right, so I don't care. You and I are going to be useless if we don't fix that problem. Okay? If we don't become, there we go. If we don't become the embodiment of what we teach, I want you to think about that. If you're busy having big bouts of, I'm not good enough and I can't sign clients, and every time I have the money conversation, my energy collapses. I can't tell you how many coaches I've talked to about that. I used to be like that years ago, and we have to get past that or we're going to be gone. It used to be that we could limp along and do some good with our training in NLP or 100 other methodologies by talking about the methodology and teaching the methodology. But those days are gone, and they're getting even goner as AI develops. I've written another book, and if you followed me at all, you know I've written 21 or 2. This one's called Coaching and the Rise of AI, and it'll be out in a couple of weeks. And in it, I've analyzed 11 different coaching methodologies, what they're supposed to provide, what they teach, how they work, and assuming they're all good to start with. But what I did is compared them about what AI can do in terms of methodology and all of the processes that they teach and use, and analyzed them for AI vulnerability and how successful they are at achieving ultimate outcomes. Because most people don't care except if they get the outcome they want. Nobody goes out and looks for a coach. They look for a solution to a problem, and you know that, and I know that. So here's the thing. All the frameworks and worksheets and scripts and all of those things, get rid of them. I don't mean diss the tools that you've learned. Of course, don't do that. But you can't depend on them anymore. We used to be able to do that, but just like VCRs and VHS and betas disappeared when streaming came into being, that whole industry came into being in the 80s and then disappeared. This is coaching. It's gonna disappear the way we know it, because all of that cool stuff that we used to provide and talk about is going to be replaced for $97 a month or less in 10 or 20 different spectacular coaching apps. The only thing that's going to be left for you and me is what used to be the top percentage, 2 or 3 or 4% of coaches who are the embodiment, who are the truth tellers, and do not run around saying, I can't do it for myself. Okay, if we don't exude, if we don't completely embody the truths of who we are, our power, our capability, if we're not done with our own barriers and blocks and stories and doubts and not good enoughs, if we're not past all that, you're done. You can get pissed off if you want. You're done. And that doesn't mean we're not continuing to work on ourselves and that we don't have coaching or coaching containers. We do. But we have to be past all that or we're useless. So this is your wake-up call. I'm going to put some information about this every day, because tips, we got to replace that with beingness. And you guys have all heard that. Being is a buzzword. Yeah, I know. But if you're not being, if you don't create yourself every day and show up in every conversation as the absolute truth and beingness, using a buzzword of who you are, you're done. And you've got a few months to make that transition. I, for one, understand that, and I'm in it full on. That's why I wrote the book. This is a wake-up call for all of us, because I was stunned by the mechanics and the methods and the metrics that I learned from the research about who's making money now, who's going to make money, what AI can do now, and what it'll be able to do in just a few more months. And the time it take me to write the book, 4 months, the AIs that I was using doubled in their capability, their empathy, their language. It was just blowing my mind. And when I looked at that in 3 or 4 months, like 3 times that length by Christmas of next year, we're not even going to recognize them. So here's your call to action. If you don't have a daily creation process that is invincible and puts you in your Olympic form every day, you're finished. So your first call to action is get one. Learn to create yourself. If you don't know how to forgive yourself completely all the time, if you don't love yourself powerfully and infinitely, so deeply that it leaks, that people don't just walk up to you and say, what is it about you? It has to be that obvious. I'm done for today. I love you. I'm calling coaches to level up, because otherwise we're going to be gone. See you tomorrow.